I don't know how this will turn out. I'm using a different little camera because I'm using my phone for GPS to get to the location. But anyways, I'm en route to a witness who has been having Bigfoot activity evidently for a while. They say it happens almost every night. They told me things like throwing rocks at the car, peeping in the windows, just a variety of activity. So I'm on my way there to interview the witness and to explore the property. So hopefully we can find out something of what's going on. They would like for it. They told me they would like for it to be ran out the property or may not come around the house. They live on a farm, kind of a small like farm, I guess. But we'll find out when we get there exactly what's going on and how much they're willing to share with us as far as going on camera. I don't even know if they'll go on camera or not, but if not, I will get video of me exploring the woods and things like that. I really hope they go on camera. I don't know if they will or not, but if not, maybe I can at least get the audio. This is Thomas with the Crypto Crew, and we are here with Sherry. And Sherry has been having some Bigfoot activity on her property, and we are going to talk to her a little bit about that. Sherry, how long has this activity been going on?
For over 2 years.
For over 2 years?
Yeah.
Tell us about some of the most recent activity.
Most recent would be this morning. And they stay around the pool. And I could come to that door, or I could come to my kitchen window, and I'm getting ready to, because I get up at all hours of the night. I'll go to the kitchen window and look, and you could literally see them. And then I go to the door, and when I go to the door, there's one that was to my left, and it's around the spigot, and you can smell them. They're horrid. And then whenever I'm standing there, there's one back behind my paint building smacked the building hard enough to push that thing up on me. And I'm 61 years old, and I have no reason to lie or to fabricate or to make up anything. I just think everybody needs to know that they actually do exist, and they could be your worst nightmare if you're scared like I am. I believe if they're going to hurt me, I wouldn't be here.
Well, what's some of the scariest things that's happened to you in the last couple of years?
The most scariest is when I first seen one. And it was down to my mom's, and the dogs was carrying on something awful. And I get up and go check and see what the dogs were barking at. And I had my flashlight, and I put a beam on it, and it run out from underneath the porch and went to a tree. And that thing just kept, it held on with its right hand and the left shoulder, and he would just go ahead and he's peeping at me. It's just back and forth, and it had the brightest eye shines I've ever seen on anything. They're like two big headlamps, super bright. And it kept looking to its left and it kept looking to its right. And it didn't really know which way it was going to go. And I feel just the way it was literally trapped. And there's one back behind my paint building, and it hit that paint building really, really hard, and it literally scared me to death. It popped my shoulder blades. And I stayed sore for 2 weeks. That's all I could do to work, especially my left shoulder. And anyway, it was a warning to one, and needless to say, when I look back, it's gone.
Well, now you was telling me that you've seen several different ones on the property. What is the tallest one you've seen, and what has been the smallest one that you've seen?
Oh, God, I don't know really how tall I'd say it would be. They're tall, but I honestly, I don't know. The one that I've seen is taller than you. I don't know how tall you are.
I'm 6'4".
It's taller than you. You see them, I'd say I'm 5'4", and they're taller than me.
Some of the smaller ones?
And the smaller ones, I've seen them to where they're like maybe 4 foot.
So we'll be a young, like a
Yeah.
kid, toddler, or something like that.
Mm-hmm. And I've seen them whenever I've done this. I couldn't hold a tune in a barrel, but I was told after we started seeing them that if a woman sung, you'd be able to, see them, make them. And back behind us is an old trailer we use for storage. Anyway, I took a bunch of stuff out and I burned it. And buddy, I fired up just started singing. And buddy, they popped out back behind that trailer and around that old tree. And they just kept popping up. And Daryl's got a oil changing ramp. And they stood out from underneath it. And they was just doing their thing. And all of a sudden, I had my phone on me. And I started snapping. And I was wanting proof for it, especially my brother, who he thinks I've lost my ever-loving mind. And especially, it's just, to him, it's just, to hear him tell it, I've got a wild imagination. But anyway, I wanted proof to show him. And I went to snapping, and something just kept moving, and it drew my eye on the right side, and that's going back behind the old carport and stuff. And when I looked at it, literally, I've got 3 that's on there, besides the dark figures that is at the oil changing pit in front of that old trailer. There's a gobs of them down there. And as they're leaving from that old trailer to come back to where the carport's at, there are 3 that's coming in, walking on their fisties, like apes.
Down on all fours.
Yeah, And one's even literally, it's kind of like he just landed. It's like his feet just had landed down, and they're kind of like see-through.
Kind of like a spirit or smoke or something like that.
Yeah, And I see that too of an evening. You can see them come in through the woods. And they're darker than night itself. They stand out. You just know when you see them. And they'll peck. They love pecking on rocks. And them old toes of theirs, their old feet, can hold where they take their feet. You can hear them because they're shuffling around, and the rock. And I've got rock all the way around that swimming pool. And you can hear them out there, and they'll take rock too, and they'll click it against the pool, and they move my furniture. They play Yankee Doodle on the furniture, and their balls that I got for the kids, I got great big old balls to go to that pool, and I was staining the pool one day, and I took the pan, and I didn't put it away because I had an episode with these kids of wrestling around and yagging and going on. And I took care of that, and I kind of forgot about the stain pan. But then all of a sudden, these little footprints all over them balls. And they dried out in the sun. And I keep them underneath the picnic table and put a net around it that's on top of that deck. The next thing you know, then the very next day, the kids, they get them balls, they're getting ready to bounce that pool, footprints all over it, and it shows like bloodlines. It shows everything on the balls. And they're all over my porch, too, where they come and do their peeking. They're the nosiest critters I ever seen.
Well, you was telling me you've seen them peek in your windows.
Absolutely. They'll stand right there, and I've seen one that I had one of the girls that go to church with. She researched, and I showed her the pictures too, and she found it for me. And it is Satan Fudge. And let me tell you, he wasn't really, really tall, but he was taller than me though. He's got like green, purple around the eyes. He's got deep wrinkles, and he's made different from the black ones. He's everything about him. He's just totally different.
Do you think he might be older?
I'd say he was older, without a shadow of a doubt. That thing was just something else. And we locked eyes, and he just stood right there and put cold chills right down my spine. But that ain't the first time I seen him. I mean, that's the first year we seen him. And on Christmas, he spent Christmas with us out here on the front porch and out in the backyard. I've got him on film on my phone.
Yeah, me and you have talked. You're going to try to send me some of the pictures and some of the sounds.
Yeah.
I noticed you have a dog. How does your dog react when you're around?
Okay, there are 2 dogs, and whenever they bark, and they if they're like all around the house, you could hear these dogs start barking. I've got agates. My brother collected agates before he passed away, and he gave me and my sister a bunch of agates. I'm finding agates all over my yard. These, I call them critters, are throwing my agates at the dogs. And the dogs will start running to like the group that's down at my mom's. They go to the side and they come in front of me across, on the other side of the blacktop. Well, they throw big sticks. There's sticks all out in the field. There's sticks everywhere, and the sticks is probably about 2 foot long, and it's not really sticks, like limbs or stuff that's fallen from a tree, and that's what they're using to keep these dogs off of them.
Run the dogs away.
Yeah, and these dogs, I can tell whenever I step out if the dogs, if it's Bigfoot. Or I can tell you if it's like an old stray dog or even a cow. They act totally different with Bigfoot. They're petrified of them. They'll start running and their tails in between their legs and they get gone and they stay. They go up underneath my Toyota truck. They'll go underneath my brother's got a truck. They stay underneath it and they'll go underneath my car.
Well, see, that's been my experience, too. I've had, when we was coon hunting earlier, I mean, when I was young, we ran on a Bigfoot, and the dogs were just terrified. I mean, there wasn't no hunting.
Yeah.
They were scared to death.
Yeah.
And so we was, too, by the time.
Yeah,
we didn't know what they were,
yeah.
so I didn't know a whole lot about Bigfoot then. I was only about 15 or 16. But we got scared enough, we went back and left.
Yeah.
And now I go in that area often, and so just looking for them and looking for tracks and things. But yeah, that's pretty typical of how dogs react to Bigfoot. Anything else going on that you can tell me about the Bigfoot in this area? What are they doing? What else are they doing to you? I notice you have a bell. They ring your bell any?
No,
Ain't rung your bell none?
No. But now they like pecking. They'll bang on stuff that's out here. That where my brother moved into the cabin, and there's a lot of stuff that he needed gone in order to put some of his stuff in, and we had it out here, and they're like old timey pots of pans, and that would be like aluminum and a lot of metal, and they'll sit there and they'll take them and they'll ding them.
Tap on them.
Yeah.
Probably with their fingernail, I guess, or a rock or something.
Yeah, and that's how they do. When they want your attention. And they want attention, they'll go to, like on my screens on the house, they've got, and that's what's been on my furniture outside too, it's got little polka dots that are yellow. It looks kind of like mud, but it ain't. It's feces. That's where they use when they use the bathroom, they're walking in it, and the field is full. And my brother keeps saying, "Oh, that's some horses across that Jackie's old horses, that's got loose," and they come out. Nah, I know because they've been out too, but now he put all his horses up, and horses when they do their business, it's a lot different from these. But now they'll walk in it and they come, and that's what's all in my screens. And it's all on my windows too, and it takes some doing to get that yellow off of your glass. Even though it goes through a screen, it manages to get on your glass. And I don't know how they do it or anything, but they sure. It just, they make a thing pop up on your windows that's like circles. And I don't know if it's what part, like when they're up and looking at it, and I don't know if that's part of their hands and stuff.
Or their mouth or something
Or
like
their
that.
mouth. And they kind of leave an image of themselves when they've got their faces pressed against your window. There's an image of them.
Well, probably like me or you would have oils and grease on her face or hands.
Yeah.
It probably leaves a smudge type
Yeah.
thing.
But you could literally place, and if you had to do a lineup, I guarantee you could pick them out. That's what an image it'll leave.
Just for clarity, you was talking about seeing them at your mother's house. That house is unoccupied, right?
Right.
And it's probably less than 200 yards away on the
Yeah.
opposite side of the road. But
Yeah.
you could easily, there's nothing obstructing your view to shine a light there. I mean, just for clarity, I mean, you
Yeah.
can see good.
Yeah.
And you have, I know of one or two ponds on the property.
Yeah, it's got two.
So there's plenty of drinking water. And
Yeah.
you said some of them had fish in it, right?
Oh, God, yeah.
Okay. So they don't have to go anywhere to get anything.
Yeah.
They've got woods, they've got water, they've got fish,
Yeah.
and they get to play with you.
Oh, yeah. I tell you what, I would have gone. I so want them gone. Down at basement, they come and they slap the house. They slap the basement door. They just, to me, they're a nuisance. I was intrigued by them, and I was fascinated by them, and I got talking, and people they refuse to believe that they actually exist, but they do. And I thought, well, I'm going to prove them wrong. Somehow or another, I'm going to get their pictures. So I even bought trail cams, set the trail cams up, and I put one underneath the decking, and it got some of the babies that's looking in my kitchen window. Then I set one out the Bradford Power in the front, and I had it aiming down. Well, I don't know what in the world I got, but they say it's part of the Bigfoot family. But it's the neatest looking thing, but it's creepy too at the same time. But it's looking up into the trail at the trail camera, and I've got the trail camera I took, and it shows an actual Bigfoot, like the ones that you see on TV that's massive back behind my mom's house. And it's going up around the apple tree, going around that way. Then on the trail cam too, it shows one that looks like a really, really tall man toward the end of it, but at the front of it, whenever it's taking the pictures, it was like a Bigfoot, and like he's stepping out of time. Each phase, it shows a Bigfoot, and then he's smaller, and he's skinnier, tall. He never loses his height, but as he gets closer and closer, go down to that driveway, he's like a man, big, tall, skinny man.
Changes his appearance.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and you'll see that back behind the house there too. And I've got a lot of stuff on my computer, but I'm computer illiterate, and I had some to help the kids to help me get it on the computer. Then Lord knows what happened to it. I get my big fingers on there, I mess it up.
Well, that's one thing. I do know you have some children in the home, and they have also seen these, and they're somewhat terrified or scared.
Yes, absolutely. They will not come out at night. They will not. You couldn't pay them to come out.
How about sounds? Have you heard much sounds, howling, or anything like that?
I hear the whooping, and I hear some that sounds like apes, like the ape sound. And then you'll hear they're talking, and there's more than two or three are talking because they're gathered right at my window. And if I only know what they were saying, but they've got a wild sound thing. It's weird. Because you can't make out a thing, but you know that's what they're trying to do.
I've heard them talk a few times. I know they can say some English words like hey or something like that. I've heard them have them do that to me several times. But like you say, to hear their language, it's I liken it like being just far enough away you can't make out no words.
Yeah.
Like somebody's talking, you can't really make out any words.
Yeah.
It's kind of what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
Then I've heard it described as sounding kind of Russian, sound like Russian language. I've heard it described that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do make a lot of odd sounds.
Yeah, that definitely it's totally different from any sound I ever heard. And I've seen, well, one morning it was daylight, believe it or not. There's a whole slew of them went over the hill. My husband had opened up, he took a dozer and went down in there and he cleaned that whole thing out and he left it wide open and it started growing back really, really pretty. This is in the fall, and it's on the morning the kids went on to school and the sunlight was coming up and then I come on out on the porch and look around, no Bigfoot, no older of them around, and all of a sudden I hear a bunch of them. They're whooping and hollering and carrying on, and they're going over, and I didn't know that we even had grapevines. They strung the grapevines up and around they brought it from the right side to the left side and draped it around trees, and they were swinging on them. They were a bunch of the little Bigfoots, and then you see the ones of the bigger ones and the heavier ones because they sank deeper in the ground. It had come rain that night, so you see some that over their hair on their feet, they don't make like what you see on TV. They don't make a foot indentation in the ground like that. They got so much hair on their feet that it kind of blocks them from having a normal footprint. But the only way you would get a really good footprint is in the wintertime. And when they're visiting and coming, peeping in these windows on the porch, I've snapped quite a few of them. And they're interesting because the juveniles or whatever, I don't know, I call them juveniles, I don't know. The young ones, it's got square indentations on the bottom of their feet. And the bigger ones, it's got round. And there are quite a few of both that's been around the house here. And I've got some of them looks like it's like you're drawing, and you'll make a footprint, you're trying to draw their feet, and then you'll go off to an angle, and that's how it comes up. You put a bunch of hair dangling out of there. That's the footprint.
And you was telling me that the ones that you have on the property are black in color, is the only color that you've seen?
Yeah. Nope, I've seen white too.
A white one?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
More than one white one? Or?
Oh, yeah, there's more than one white one. And not only that, we got hair.
A hair sample?
Yeah, got gobs. And there one, everybody thought it was my sister, had cut her hair and brought it up and or just laid it down and the kids took off with it or whatever. There, a wad of hair that is down at the basement and it's running bushes and it's white. And good God Almighty, what a smell. A horrific smell from that hair. And then around my pool, like where you have to open that thing up and take the basket out and clean it, mm-hmm. Get the bugs, whatever's in there out. Underneath it, now it's where I got a bunch of hair from it, and we saved it.
So they're getting under the clean out area.
Yeah, uh-huh. Yeah, and it got caught, and it's not like a hair that you'll see. And I'll be honest with you, I believe to God they better get in that pool too, because of we got hair, strange looking hair that's coming through the pool, and it comes out that thing.
Well, it's funny you say that. I know of 2 instances where Bigfoot was reported in the creeks.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought they were most likely doing, was either trying to catch fish or they were baiting.
Yeah.
And my neighbor seen this one, and he got real close to it because he would walk the railroad track, and there's a little creek beside it, and there's no houses. And, you don't make much racket when you're walking by yourself, anyways. And he got right up on it. He heard it splashing in the creek, and as he got closer, he looked. They said he looked each other right in the eye, and it took off flying in the mountains.
Wow.
And I guess that's what it was doing, probably bathing or something. I guess maybe they can smell themselves or something.
Yeah.
Or so long.
Well, that's kind of unique that you would say what you said, because when I seen Satan Fudge out my kitchen window, they were other ones that was standing around him. And we looked at each other, and I stared at him for the longest time there was. He didn't offer to move. He didn't offer to leave, and nor did the others that stand beside of him. They's like they stood there like big soldiers. And at my front door, I bought some stuff this year to disguise, to kind of give you privacy. And it doctored the windows and stuff so that you wouldn't be able to see their eyes or their faces because of the kids. And Christmas coming on, I didn't want a repeat of last year. But I will tell you something else that kind of creeped me out. Last year at Christmas, through my front door, I've got these little side lights that goes. I've got a door that's half glass, and then two side lights that runs down on both sides. All of a sudden, and this was up, I think it's on Christmas Eve. Children, I'm telling you what's the truth. You hear peck, peck, peck. They wanted us to know they were there by them a pecking. And look straight up, sitting on the couch, and you can see them. And sure enough, there's old Satan Fudge. And his other, I call them his groupies. And they were standing there and they was looking. But this is what is creepy. The children, I've got one, she's just now turned 6. And the other girl just now turned 9. So they'd been 8 and 5. And the baby, whenever she come through, and all the rest of them had come through and sat down and getting ready to open up a big present. And whenever that baby come in, I was watching him. And he was staring at me all the time. He'd look at the kids and go right back staring at me. Each child that come through, his eyes would move. He'd be looking at them, but he'd come back to me. And buddy, I tell you what, when that baby come through, darndest thing was his eyes got ginormous, just like he was shot, like somebody shocked, or they couldn't believe what they see. And his eyes got really, really big, and he locked on that young'un, and he would not take his eyes off of her. He never did move them. And I had to have her removed. And then we took a bunch of stuff, put over top of the windows so you couldn't see.
Well, you know, there are reports of Bigfoot kidnapping children and stuff like that. You know, it's a lot of the Native American stuff from years ago.
Yeah.
And occasionally you hear a few things, you know, over the last modern times. But the Bigfoot that you call Satan's Fudge, you say he's a little bit different looking, he's a little bit older.
Yeah.
You think maybe that he might be the leader of the whole group or something, maybe?
I don't know. But he's the one that, whenever he comes, they never leave. And you see any of the rest of them, or you smell them, or you can come to the door, man, they disappear. And at times, I want to run this by you and see what you think.
Okay.
Because you can see them with your naked eye. You can see them, but they're gone in a flash. And sometimes I wonder if they don't. Sometimes I think some of them are mythical, and they come whenever they come in. You see like black smoke, black gray like smoke. And they'll walk right out of that. You'll see their noses, and it's just like putting a mask on or putting a stocking across your face, and you're walking through that and burst out on the upper side. That's kind of like them coming through that black smoke. You'll see them protrude straight on out of there. They just walk straight on out. And now I see this all the time. And also we got one picture of Bigfoot. It's right before you get to the carport here from the house, and it's just a short distance from my back porch. And he's got like a glow around him. That's way up in the morning.
They are mysterious. I don't exactly know what all they can do, but now the ones I have seen move, they move almost like smoke or a vapor, and they're so quick.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not really got an open field, like you got a lot of open territory here.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a lot of woods, but you got a lot of open area. I mean, if they're in the woods and people talk about them getting gone so fast, man, they move like a streak of light.
Yeah.
They're gone in the heartbeat. They're gone.
Yeah.
And people say, well, get your camera out. You ain't got time. If you're out in the woods, you ain't got time. They're gone.
Yeah. I would give anything if people would have the opportunity, not to scare them or anything, but had the opportunity to actually see one close enough that they know exactly what it is and not have a shadow of doubt in their minds, and let them, honest to God, see that they really do exist. And these are faithful. They will come no matter what. And they come in dusty dark. And I can see them. I call it loaded up back behind my mom's old place. And they get right against, it's like they're walking against the wall. And as they're wanting to get on that underneath that porch, and they'll drop their heads down and they're peeping to see, I guess, about traffic or if anybody's around. And then as it gets darker and darker, they slip right on through. But you see that all the time. And you'll see them, we've seen them coming through the wood line down here and drove right down there. That's when it's checking trail cam. And big Bigfoots, you can see them just walking, but there's kind of like see-through. And you can hear them, but it's kind of like see-through.
Well, let me ask you this now, or I'll make a statement. You can agree with it or disagree with it. Even though they are a nuisance and they're kind of aggravating you, they've never harmed anyone.
No, other than throwing a rock one time.
Throwing rocks?
Well, yeah, they threw a rock at me last night, and my sister seems to think that the reason why they throw the rock, they want attention.
Could be.
And they've hit the house with rocks, but no, if they was going to harm me, I would not be here.
They could already...
Yeah, they could have done their damage.
Well, you give me permission to look around on the property, correct?
Amen.
And I want to, if it's okay with you, I would like to take a picture of the windows. You can show me the windows they peek in. That way we can kind of get a idea how high they are off the ground, that kind of thing. Give us a estimate. Anything else you'd like to tell me before I maybe go hit the woods a little bit?
Golly, there's so much that's happened.
I'm going to take my pistol, just in case.
Yeah, you go right ahead.
I want you to be aware of that.
Yeah.
Just in case. And not necessarily for Bigfoot, but bears or coyotes.
Yeah.
I've had coyotes trail me and stuff before, too. So they're kind of dangerous.
Well, we got bear around here, too.
Yeah, we do, too. I've been face-to-face from here to your gate with one.
Oh, dear Lord.
A mama and 4 cubs.
Yeah.
I was down digging.
Black bear?
Yeah, digging ginseng, and I heard her coming through the woods.
Yeah.
And I stood up, and we was that close, if not closer.
Yeah. Oh, Lord.
But she didn't cause me no problem, but I had 2 aggressive bears this year.
Yeah.
While I was ginseng.
Wow.
I had to shoot at one of them. I didn't try to hit it. I just make a noise,
Yeah.
So it would move on.
Yeah. They're a nuisance, too. My little dog hit saved my life from a black bear, big old black bear. So that thing was coming, and it was on top. It's down here where, like, if you wanted to go that way, too, because they're down in there, you find you used to be able to find a lot of Bigfoot prints, because there's a little creek that runs down through there. And their prints was plentiful. And anyway, I drove through on my side-by-side, and I was having problems with it, and I was about as dumb as a rock for getting down in there by myself. And to be honest, I kind of forgot. And I like quiet. I love to hear the sounds in the woods. And when there's nobody around to draw your attention, and just listen as a wind, and just everything. It's a peaceful.
Yeah.
It's serenity. And I cut that side by side off. All of a sudden, my dog followed me down, and it went up there, up the road just a little bit. I mean, he's in seeing distance with me. And all of a sudden, I hear that boom, boom. Sound like, well, it's a bear pounding on. It's letting them know that we're too close.
Yeah, they'll thump the ground kind of with their front paws.
And it's a big old. It had to be a big old bear from the thumps it was putting out. And I went, "Oh Lord, help me! Lord, help me!" I went to praying instantly, and I finally got that thing to fire up, and I'll never be down there by myself again.
I tell you what's good to take is a whistle. If you like a referee uses, and you can blow that whistle, and a lot of times they'll leave.
Wow, I bet I get one.
So yeah, carry one around your neck or something.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, bears. It's rare that a black bear would attack, but it seems like they're more aggressive now in the last few years than they have been over time.
Yeah.
Well, if that's all, I'll just I will stop the interview and I'll get on my gear and all my stuff, and we'll take a few pictures here of the house, of the windows, and anything you want to show me on the ground or where they throwed something or something like that. We'll take a few pictures of that. Okay.
Okay.
All right,
that sounds like a deal. Thank you.